Hey, let's talk about these Green Bay Packers. One of the oldest franchises in the NFL. This franchise is over 100 years old. Had some legendary players. The winningest franchise in the NFL. They have the audacity to call their city Titletown. And my man Zach McCann over in Chicago is over there with a big smile today, repping his green and gold, sitting in the city of Chicago, giving them folks over there a hard time constantly. So yeah, man, it was exciting going back, man, looking at the history of these Green Bay Packers, man, because as I think about the Packers myself, man, they growing as I'm growing up in the 70s, it was between eras for them. During the 70s and 80s, the Packers really weren't very good. They had been great in the 60s, great in the early part of the 1900s. And then in the 70s and 80s, they weren't very good at all. Then they hired Mike Holmgren and it turned that franchise around. So yeah, it'd be fun today breaking down looking back at the Green Bay Packers. All right, so here we are with the Green Bay Packers, one of the legendary franchises in the NFL, been in existence for over 100 years, 105 seasons that they've had, the Green Bay Packers. They've won over 800 games. They are the winningest franchise in the NFL. And it was interesting as I looked at this, they have made the playoffs 28 times. And if you remember last week when we looked at the Minnesota Vikings have only been in existence since 1961, but they've made the playoffs 32 times. So, the Packers were interesting as I was a kid coming up, man. In the 70s and 80s, they were never very good, right? So they went 2 decades not being very good. They had all those legendary teams early in the 1900s, in the 1960s, and then in the 90s when they got Mike Holmgren, they became good again. But they went a long stretch where they didn't win the division, weren't making the playoffs. And that's reflected in the number of playoff appearances they've had. Now, if you look at the number of playoff victories they've had, they've certainly had quite a few of those. 4 Super Bowls and 5 appearances, 13 championships. And a lot of you youngsters probably don't know that the winningest coach in Green Bay Packers history is not Vince Lombardi. The guy with the most championships in Green Bay Packer history is not Vince Lombardi. It is the legendary Curly Lambeau, after whom the stadium is named Lambeau Field, and he has over 212 wins. See the great Brett Favre, who I believe when he retired was the NFL's all-time leader in passing yards. Certainly the Packers' all-time leader in with over 61,000. He had 442 touchdowns. He's also the all-time leader in Packers history in interceptions, but we're not going to discuss that today. We're staying positive. Amon Green is the all-time leading rusher for decades. It was Jim Taylor, and Amon Green passed Jim Taylor early in the 2010s. Amon Green was running for the Packers, and then Donald Driver is the all-time leader in yards, and Mason Crosby is the all-time leader in points scored. And we're not going to mention that Mason Crosby missed a field goal in an NFC Championship game that cost them. We're not going to mention those things either because we're staying positive today.
That's right.